do will be broadcast to our audience.
Right, okay.
Damn it. You can't pander to the gays. They can smell it. You're acting like Citibank at Pride.
You're acting like Citibank.
Some of these on the Netflix ones, are they like, because some of them can only be like US, can't they? Like, I don't know if I've not seen this advertised over here.
No.
The Q-Force? Yeah, no, it's not even, barely any people know about it over here. I just follow like every conceivable like YouTube account that I could find that does trailers. I follow just so I don't miss any. And that was just one that I saw kicking around that nobody was talking about.
No, I'm not sure about what.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be.
Actually, we don't scare anymore. Now we're laugh power. Sorry about that.
They're putting you two in charge.
Just kidding. It's laughter we're after. We're gonna need to find a couple of hundred more funny monsters.
Excuse me, Tyler Tuskman, official scarer.
What? Scarer?
You're no longer hiring scarers?
Scarers are out. Jokesters are in.
Is this a joke?
Report to Miffed.
Yeah! Home sweet home. Meet the new guy, Tyler Tuskman.
Hi.
We were best buds in
We
college.
just had that one class together.
Yeah, but it was special.
We didn't actually speak. What exactly is MIFT?
What is Miffed?
Ah, now you've done it.
The Monsters Inc. facilities team.
M-I-F-T.
If a machine needs maintenance, we maintain it.
It's crazy to me that they got Billy Crystal and John Goodman back for this.
They have all the money.
Well,
Nothing's off limits for them. John Goodman could be dead, and they would resurrect him.
That's true. He also does. You know what? He does the Connors. So
Yeah,
they just delivered the new kids.
and it's a voiceover work. He could probably do it like in between takes for the Connors.
it's true. And ABC is already Disney, so
Yeah, that's true too. I did
I
not
stand
watch the
corrected,
trailer
Jared.
before I put it in the chat, so buckle the fuck up.
yeah. Hopefully, there's no boobs like there was in that one trailer.
Yeah, who knows? It's animated boobs. If it is.
I'm pretty sure Twitch still gets mad about that. They're trying to get that Nintendo money. You know what I'm saying?
This is by the animation studio that does the. They work on the 4th season of Attack on Titan, so
No way.
should at least look good. Yes, it looks good.
Yeah. What should I call it? Yeah, there's like a massive like jump in quality and animation from season 1 to season 2.
Yeah.
Of Attack on Titan.
I think it's different animation houses for each season. Neat. Not a single word.
Sorry, guys, there's another one we're not heard of, I must admit.
I'm just. Yeah, it's like a manga that has a lot of hype, but I haven't read it.
Okay.
Well. No.
So Spy Sea Otter offers the best chance to
No. I want one that is. Yeah, 8 hours long. And I'll be lazy for the rest of the time.
Okay. Oh, we got Muckville Radio in the chat. Hey, Muckville Radio.
Hello.
Wait, what's good? What are we looking at? What's in this
It's a
aquarium?
live otter cam.
Oh, nice.
Hello, Muckville Radio.
More like dead otter cam, am I right?
Yeah, I know. They're hit or miss, especially when they're 8 hours long. And just hello.
Oh, yeah.
not being able to do like, copyrighted shit is so limiting.
I know. Okay.
Because I'm like, I see like a concert. I'm like, I want to put that on for a little bit. And then it's like, but the music's going to get us fucking slammed.
Yeah, the music. I love these cams, says Snappy Bakes.
Good.
Well, they love you back.
Shit.
So I've sent out a tweet. So if you guys want to retweet that, that would be cool. Okay. That'd be nice. And then I'm going to be a couple more moments. And so for our two viewers, Snappy Bakes and Muckville Radio, please, Film Geezers, introduce yourselves real quick before we start in on everything.
I'm Robbo. This is my son Cheeto. We're the Film Geezers. We're from Portsmouth on the south coast of UK. We've started about 3 months ago, mainly with our podcast, which you can get on all the streaming platforms. We have a website as well and normal social media. And this is the first live...
Yeah, it's the first time we put our face to anything, so...
yeah.
An exclusive.
Yeah, it is.
It's an honor. It's an honor to... Wait, do you guys have a Instagram?
Yes, we do. It's the same.
The Film Geezers?
It's the Film Geezers, yeah.
That makes it easy.
It does, yeah. So much easier.
It's so annoying when it's like, oh, my Instagram is this, my Twitter's that, my blah blah is this, and it's just like, oh my god, just settle on one fucking thing, man.
The only difference is TikTok, where what was it, the film _ geezers for some reason.
Wanted to put a difference like between the words,
Okay. Just a couple more minutes and then we'll be
just trying to find
then we'll be ready to go.
Search at the top, go to the top and then search it.
Are you Film Simps on Twitter?
Oh, just give your OnlyFans and be fine with it. That's Mikey Jesus. Mikey Jesus in the chat.
Yeah. He's the...
Ooh, baby.
Damn.
I'm not seeing any fucking otters in here.
You got
they're occasional.
You follow.
I'm just not looking up. I'm just like trying to spam the link, but also I at least want to see one otter before we start. Like like in my heart.
Look for a better cam.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, and Mikey Jesus can't stay. That's fine, Mikey Jesus. You'll be on Twins with me tomorrow night, and then of course the Hiddle Simps with me on Saturday, where the Hiddle Simps will be. I'm just gonna let you all know, and I don't know if Robbo and Cheeto know this, but we do our Saturday show right now is the Hiddle Simps, where we...
Oh, yeah, I've seen it,
yeah. I've seen it advertised on Facebook, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, Facebook. But we will be tearing IGN a new one for giving the latest episode of Loki a 5 out of 10. And then in their review, saying shit that proves that either they didn't watch it or they just didn't, retain any of the information, because they just literally
see online synopsis or something that's based off of that.
They say that fucking that the episode just spins its wheels and doesn't develop anything, but they kill multiple characters off. It's that kind of episode where they kind of clean house a little bit, and it's it's just insane to me how you could get the show's spinning its wheels, the show just doesn't know where to go. there are entire episodes of, like, for example, WandaVision that I could absolutely see you saying that about.
Yeah.
Or even the previous episode. I don't know if you guys have been following like the show. Have you guys been watching the show Loki on Disney Plus?
Well, Robbo here doesn't.
I'm not a big fan of sort of MCU.
I love the
stuff.
MCU. He's not a big fan. He's a fan of. He's from a different generation, so he likes all the old superhero movies, the Superman.
Yeah.
You know, Christopher Reeve and all that, but not anything modern.
I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind watching, say, one Iron Man film, but when it's to Iron Man 25, I switch off.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 3.
Yeah, well, no, but I'm just saying that's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think that, I mean, I'm just so deep in it now.
Yeah.
Like, I resisted for the longest time. But then it kind of got me. It kind of, it was, I got caught up for Infinity War, and Infinity War was so good that I just got hooked on the series again.
Oh yeah.
And I also really like the Guardians movies. And when I found out the Guardians were going to be Infinity War, I was like, okay, now I got to go back and like watch all the ones I missed.
Yeah. Luckily, I grew up with all of them. I remember my first. I think I went to see Captain America. The original one was my first one in the cinema. So ever since then, I'm like the proper right age to grow up with it. Because I'm only 21 now, so I've grew up with it and saw Infinity War, seen Endgame, and I think probably the last battle in Endgame is the best moment in the cinema I've ever had. You know, it was either opening night or the night after, and yeah, everyone was getting gassed up and everything. It was one of the best moments I've ever had in the cinema. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's my number one moment in cinema, but I do think that the ending of Endgame is what makes that movie, because it is just a spectacle, and it's just impressive, like, how many, like, you know, super famous actors they got to be in just one scene. You know, I mean,
so much money on that.
It's like 90% of Hollywood is represented in just one battle sequence.
Is that the one with Henry Cavill's mustache?
No, that is totally different.
It's telling me about the amount of money they spent on CGIing a mustache.
Yeah, that was Justice League. He's filming Mission Impossible at a Chevron.
That is, Justice League is the opposite of Infinity War and Endgame. I mean, it's that done right. But okay. 100%. Sweet. I think we are ready to go. Okay, and so we're gonna play our opening theme song, and we're gonna get this shit show started. And away we go.
Coroner says we're closing in 10. You're wasting my time. This ain't your bed. You give them a wink, or is it a blink? You only got one eye, so they gotta think. You hang around town with the Film Simps. You're selling your organs with the Film Simps. You catch a raccoon with the Film Simps. You'll name that raccoon Film Simps.
The Film Simps was shot before a live digital audience.
Woo! Everybody, everybody, welcome to Film Simps!
Hello.
How long did it take to make that?
Whoa! It went through a pretty extensive back and forth. And actually, the guy who edited it all together, and you heard his voice briefly at the very end, Bat Nerd Begins, is actually in the chat saying, "I simp for the Simps." But hello, everybody! Welcome to the show. I'm Justin P. Drew, aka Shashi. I'm your host. Yay! Wee! Woo! And then, of course, as always, is my co-host, Jer Palopoulos. Say hello, Jer.
Hello. We also should give credit because it was your brother who did the music. Dan did the editing, and we went back and forth for like 2 weeks with me being like, I don't like this, and eventually coming around on it.
For sure. And I forget the name of the app, but I did, like, I think it's Reface. I did the Reface app, and then
Yeah.
I mean, I had 3 times the amount of refaces, like still on my phone. Actually, we could cut like a whole half hour intro if we wanted to. And also, of course, so anybody here who was here before the theme song saw these guys. But let me reintroduce the Film Geezers, Robbo and Cheeto. Say hello.
Hey, hello, how you doing, guys? Probably should be in English with a bit more reserved. But...
It's okay, man. It's okay. And so you guys already kind of plugged your stuff a bit, but just to reiterate, you can check out the Film Geezers on Spotify. Just type in Film Geezers and you can find you guys anywhere. And how we met each other is kind of interesting. Do you mind if I tell the story?
That's right, yeah.
Because I was building, because we have merch at filmsimps.com, and I was building the merch thing, and I just Googled our name, because I just wanted to see what the first thing that came up was. And then I found you guys' podcast, and originally you guys had called yourselves the Film Simps. But I didn't want to assume that you guys were assholes, so I sent you a very friendly email, and you guys were super nice and super kind. And we're super willing to change up your name to the Film Geezers.
We were only called the Film Simps for about 2 days, wasn't it? We only just started it for a matter of a day or a couple of days. So we're like, we don't want to take it from you, you know what I mean? So
if anything, it's a failure on my part to not make my shit more Googleable,
It's fairly easy to do. So, like I said, I'm a web developer, so it was, not too hard.
Yeah, it was quite easy to change it on everything, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I like the. Actually, I should probably ask you guys first.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. A geezer is like a dude over here, or mate, over there. I assume it's old person, isn't it?
Yeah, over here it's old person, but geezer is just like bruh. It's like a bro, the film bro.
It's more of a Southern English thing.
Yeah, so cool.
You just like geezer, or how you doing, geezer, or something. It's not like it doesn't. Like I said, it has 2 different meanings, but I think people can get the gist of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so many simps, says Dan. It is. It's very much. Wait, let me just pull this up real quick. Okay, I should have had this. Man, I should have had this queued. This would have been such a better bit if I just was prepared for this. But I just had the idea right now.
It's not the Film
as I
Simps
do.
brand, baby.
Yeah, that is the Film Simps brand, is it not? But boom, right there. This is the motif for the episode right here, because we legitimately had that moment. But yeah, so we got a lot of the stuff to get to. I definitely want to get to it. The beginning of every show, we do a segment I like to call "What Are You Watching This Week?" So we just go around, just tell us something that you watched in the past week. Doesn't have to be a new release. It can be if you watched an episode of Friends from the 90s, or you watched a movie from the 80s, or a TV show from the 70s, whatever. It can even be a book or a podcast or a video game. Let's start with Cheeto. Cheeto, what are you watching this week?
Well, we saw, I think within the week we saw Nobody actually in the cinema, but I saw Quiet Place 2 about 2 days prior to that. And then went to the cinema again 2 days after Nobody, and we saw The Father with Anthony Hopkins in.
Wow.
And then I love abroad, I have a resume of films. I just love anything film, but one genre I've not gotten into is westerns. So it's I watched Unforgiven the other day for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And don't shoot me for not watching it.
I've never seen it, so I can't.
Oh no! But yeah,
I have no ground to shoot.
Yeah, but I watched that for the first time, blown away. But yeah, in the last week, I've been to the cinema 3 times, and I watched 3 good movies, and I've left the cinema feeling pretty okay with it. You know what I mean? Which is rare nowadays for me personally. But
that's a great
question.
Thing different generation.
What did you think of A Quiet Place 2?
Well, I hate to do this. I hate to plug anything, but we have a website and we review movies on all of our platforms, but we do proper in-depth reviews on our website, and I gave it a 3 out of 5. So
3 out of 5?
Yeah. I gave
what did you give the first one?
4 out of 5.
Okay.
So I saw it in cinema, because I know, it's the thing, I know when you go to the cinema, you can have that bias, can't you? When you go see a movie, you're blown away, it's the best thing ever. So I like to write some notes down once I've come home from the cinema, and about a week later I look through them again and see if I still am in the same headspace about it. But I was frustrated with A Quiet Place too, just for what it could have been. It had a really good cast. I could see John Krasinski's vision. I could see elements there, but it was just someone was holding it back. I felt like the potential was loads, and it just didn't really live up to that. But it was. I left them. It's an okay film, but against the original, it's not the best. But
interesting, because I loved the first one when I saw it in theaters. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10. So, which would translate to a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
But then I saw. Do you guys know who YMS is? The Your Movie Sucks guy.
I've heard of the guy. Yeah,
he's a YouTuber. He's one of the most miserable pieces of shit in existence. He seems like I love his videos, and I would never want to meet him or be friends with him because he just seems like a miserable C-word, right? And just the most. I mean, he hates children. Like, he hates child actors. He hates anything. Like, his reviews are Pixar. I cannot trust his reviews of a Pixar movie because he just fundamentally hates kids and entertainment aimed at kids. And I am a 33-year-old baby, so I love Pixar. Like, I gave Luca a 9 out of 10 last week, and I'm the highest review I've seen for Luca. Like, anywhere. Everybody else is like, it's mediocre Pixar, right? But his A Quiet Place review, and then he did a follow-up to address the backlash to the review, and it literally, like, watching both of those videos and like some of the logic, it does bring that movie down to a 7 for me, simply because so many moments in that movie are just illogically orchestrated to just unnecessarily kind of provide a scare. Like, it doesn't provide the scares organically. Like, for example, like watching something like Midsommar, which I think is one of the best contemporary horror movies, right? Like, I would consider that like a 10 out of 10, like, masterpiece. Everything feels organic in that movie. Every new freaky, scary, fucked up thing seems like it should be there. Whereas A Quiet Place really does why is this character behaving stupidly? Oh, so then this thing can happen, like, and then it just does that.
Same, especially about Quiet Place 2. I just felt like scares were put in there just for the sake of it. Because maybe like they wrote the film and like, oh no, we don't have enough scares, so we're just going to put it in, and that's where you get the unorganic bit. But yeah, like I said, it's Quiet Place 2 isn't the best movie, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, hopefully he can bring it home with A Quiet Place 3. Okay, Robbo, your turn. What are you watching this week?
Like Cheeto said, we saw nobody obviously to prepare for today. I think it was Monday. We saw The Father. I don't know if you've seen it.
I saw it.
I actually cried at the end. Yeah. That's how emotionally draining it is.
You can see why you want
to. Do you think Anthony deserved that trophy?
Oh yeah,
100%. I don't know if it's because we're a bit biased.
No, but
no, definitely. I think
we
as fellow geezers, you guys are biased.
I think we both said it was his best performance probably ever.
Don't shoot us, because I know he's got Silence of the Lambs on there, but he's in that movie for about 2 minutes. So this is him at 80 odd years old, and then carrying a movie like that with all the emotion. You can see, you can really see his acting ability in it. It's an absolutely amazing film.
Wow. I've got a TiVo full of old films to watch, plus my Prime watch list and other stuff. I watched Heat again. Michael Mann.
Hell yeah,
good film.
And it's like you can watch a film and then you forget about it for a bit, and you watch it again, and you realise how good it is.
Yeah.
And it is action's probably one of my favourite genres anyway. But that was supposed to be because I saw it at the cinema originally, and that was supposed to be the big meeting of Pacino and De Niro on screen for the first time. And I think they spend 10 minutes together having a coffee.
Yeah, they spend an Anthony Hopkins and Silence of the Lamb amount of time.
Yeah. And then I rewatched Spotlight. I don't know if you've seen that. That's an uplifting film about abuse in the Catholic Church.
A lovely film.
Fantastic movie. So about Heat. So back when the pandemic kicked in and I got laid off from my job, and then the world ended. Heat was one of the movies I had never seen Heat until last year, and I rewatched it. And I mean, I'm not like Bat Nerd Begins. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. Probably give it a 9 out of 10 though. I think it was masterpiece. And then for like 6 months, I was just walking around my house randomly, just shouting, "She got a great ass!"
Well, I read somewhere that that take took about, it was like 50th take, and Pacino just got pissed off with it, and he just went with it like that, and that's the one that's stuck in the film. Because that's it was the guy from Simpsons.
I
forget his guy.
Dan Castellaneta.
No, he does the voice of a poo, and
Hank Azaria.
That's Hank Azaria in that scene as well. He looks genuinely shocked. It's 3 hours, isn't it? But it doesn't seem it, because it is really high octane, balls to wall style action, I think.
Yeah, it's a blast. Also, my brother who showed it to me, same brother who watched Sopranos a million times. He told me I don't know if I think we Googled this to verify that it was true, but he told me that apparently there was going to be a whole subplot in that movie where Al Pacino's character was going to be addicted to cocaine, like super bad, and that was going to be a kind of like one of the running plot lines of the movie. And apparently, so they cut out all the shit that explicitly references that, but so all you have left is just like the crazy cocaine outbursts that are just now just this guy's just unhinged. This is just an unhinged dude.
On the one hand, I believe that, but on the other hand, that's like every 90s Al Pacino performance. Like, was the cocaine subplot cut out a sense of a woman? Who knows?
Okay. So you saw Heat. Yeah, you watched Spotlight, which Bat Nerds Begins. It's a Boston movie. Very appropriate for this show because me and Jer both live in various spots around Boston.
All right. Oh, it's the Boston Globe, isn't it? The Spotlight team or something.
Justin actually lives up the road from, and I used to live with Justin up the road from that building. Yeah.
And then okay, so sorry.
We've got the Euro Championships going at the moment, so lots of soccer.
Yeah. It's football, not soccer, Dad. Come on.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm not a big sports guy. Also, and then Bat Nerd Begins just sent a GQ article, but just confirming that yes, Al Pacino's character was originally conceived as a coke fiend, which makes absolute sense. I mean, that is like literally like the missing piece of that fucking character when you really think about it. Okay, but let's move on though. Jared, what are you watching?
Actually, just because you brought up Heat and it's not on streaming, I just put it on our Vudu account and sent you $5 because they cost $5 on there, which is a bargain for a great movie.
You bought it? Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Ultra high def. You can see that great acid. Perfect. No pixelation. What did I watch this week? I got sidetracked from like the shit I'm normally watching because my fiance, I showed her the second episode of Pause with Sam J on HBO, which is former Boston comic Sam J has a show on HBO where it's kind of like a talk show thing. And it's very good. 6 episodes, and we've binged almost all of them in 3 days. So that's why I haven't watched my normal amount of stuff. But yeah, she's doing great stuff. It's she gets in some interesting conversations with a lot of different subjects. And some fun skits. I could go for more skits from that show, but the ones they got are very good.
Yeah, and also fun fact about Sam J. So we both know her personally, and we know some in every episode of Pause. I've only seen the first 2, but I'm gonna get caught up on the other 4. But it's every episode is a house party that she has, and then they'll just do kind of the house party. In it, she'll talk about certain things. And then you'll see kind of different segments. Some of them sketches. Some of them are kind of she kind of what Conan does. Like she'll go to a location and somebody will try to teach her something and she riffs. and those will all be, like race is obviously a big part of it, because she is a black lesbian, but we actually know she actually, like, some people that, like, I was, like, surprised to see them on HBO. Like, she kind of, like, picked a couple people out of complete obscurity that we know from Boston comedy, and put them and gave them TV credits, and good on her.
Yeah, they don't say much, but it's, like, interesting to see them pop up and, like, be like, I know that guy, and he doesn't say anything after that. But, like, yeah,
I know that guy. That guy was really rude to me last time I saw him in fucking New York. Fuck that guy.
I feel like because my fiance likes it so much, I feel vindicated because I'm like, at first I was like, maybe I just like this because I remember being at parties with Sam J and having it be like this. But now I'm like, okay. So it's actually, the content is actually good. And she's doing a good job with her show. And the other thing I wanted to shout out, Superman and Lois just did a really great flashback episode. It's like about how Lois and Superman met. And it's like a nice little thing before it becomes like a regular episode of that show, which is, CW bullshit, but I think it does right by the Superman character. I'm a very big fan of Superman and also of the show in general. So, yeah, those are what I've been watching lately.
Okay, yeah, I everybody keeps saying that Superman and Lois is like amazing, and I don't know. I watched the Marvel shit, right?
Yeah,
and I watched some of even the old Netflix Marvel shit that they just they basically said this is no longer canon. Fuck you if you like Daredevil. Daredevil doesn't matter, I don't give a shit how you feel about Jessica Jones or the Punisher. They don't exist anymore. They're dead. So I watched some of that. Although I got quickly tired of that. I got it was maybe 3 episodes into Iron Fist, and I was like, I don't like this anymore.
I mean, it's not a 1-to-1 comparison because, first off, those were all very strongly PG-13 kind of things. I think those are more up your alley than Superman and Lois would be, which is very much a CW show. It spends at least a third to a quarter of its time on teen drama bullshit in a high school. But I think it does a good job with that stuff while also understanding the things that make. Yes, I think I agree with Batman Begins. That it's better than all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows so far. But I also don't think it's
all of them. It's better than Loki.
I'm not Loki's good, but I'm not blown away by it. I'm I am literally watching every episode 4 days after they drop, and then being surprised that everyone's talking about the next one. They all creep up on me a little bit.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's all good. It's just that I've been in that I'm neck deep in that universe. I don't need to be in there anymore. Let me fucking immerse myself in my One Car Y box set for a week or whatever. So yeah, I'll take a CW thing because I can't. It's too late for me to catch up on those. So this one's just an easy into that kind of thing.
God damn. Okay, sorry. There was just a huge lightning strike, and it
finally. I thought your cat had grown to an enormous height. That was my guess.
Yeah. That's kind of what I thought too. I thought she finally. I thought she finally got her Titan. Okay, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen Superman and Lois. I'm not a CW superhero show guy. I couldn't get into any of them. I know that Batnerd Begins in the chat was a big fan of Titans until that got shitty. I heard
that's not CW. You have not watched a CW show. I don't think, dude.
It has the CW scent on it. It smells. Actually, Doom Patrol is another one that has the CW smell that I actually watch. They're all CW adjacent. They're the same brain trust.
Not really. I don't think Titans is. That was a DC Universe thing and HBO Max, so it's not
or the Arrow or whatever.
Yeah, Arrow would be.
Supergirl and
Supergirl is a hit or miss because the first season was CBS. I like Supergirl, anyway. But yeah,
but okay. But Superman and Lois, I don't know. I don't think it'll. And so you don't think I'd like it? You don't think I'd be into it?
No, I don't think you'd like it. I'm not.
Okay, great.
But
I will watch it. Yeah, you and so many. I mean, in the Shushy Cinema group, every week can we talk about the latest episode of Superman and Lois?
Yeah, I know. If only I were still in the group, I could be in that conversation. But alas, I logged into Facebook briefly for just to look at just a quick thing in a wrestling group, and then was like, nothing in here appeals to me, and so I left again. So,
well, that's okay. Yeah. Listen, I think your life was probably better without it, and I cannot fault you. Okay, my turn. What did I watch this week? I'm very sad to say this, okay, because I've been looking forward to this movie. This movie is a trailer that we watched a couple months ago. Robbo and Cheeto, are you guys familiar with Werewolves Within? Have you guys seen the trailer for that movie?
No, I haven't. No.
So it's an Ubisoft movie. Ubisoft and IFC Midnight collaborated, which is an interesting collaboration, and it was directed by Josh Rubin.
Right.
Josh Rubin is a comedian formerly of College Humor. He directed one of my favorite movies of last year, which was Scare Me, starring Aya Cash, which was a fantastic movie, and it made like my top 5 of the year list for 2020 because I loved it so much. It's such a creative, cool indie horror movie. This one has a lot of talented people not doing a great job. Werewolves Within, I obviously don't want to spoil anything, but it stars Sam Richardson. Do you know who Sam Richardson is?
No.
He was from the show Detroiters. He was also on several episodes of I Think You Should Leave. I guarantee you've seen him in something. He's been in a ton of comedy stuff.
Okay.
And he's the star of this movie. He's like the marquee star, like the big name. And I really don't think he does a great job. Like, I don't think, like, this guy, it's just, when he's on, like, a sketch show or he's on Detroiters, every time he, like, delivers a line, he kind of has, like, a little smirk, you know? Right. And that works when he is a supporting character, but when it's, like, he's the star of, like, and it's a comedy horror movie, and the problem is it's not very funny when it's doing comedy, and then when it's trying to scare you, it's not very effective at that either. I've given it a 6 out of 10 just because it has some solid twists and turns. But it has, and I also like Michaela Watkins. She was on a show called Casual. She's a former SNL cast member, and I love her in so many other things. And I really think that she is the most dreadful part of this movie, and her performance is like legitimately abysmal, and like just grinds the movie to a halt every time because she's like playing she's trying to play like an older lady, but you don't know if she's like, you know, pretending to be older, like pretending to be crazy and stuff. But whatever it is, it's annoying and obnoxious, and there's never a scene that like makes it okay, you know.
Yeah. You don't find sometimes that when you're trying to do comedy horror, it's best to play it straight, and it's funnier when they do it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's the thing. It's just trying to. I don't know. If we ever review the movie, like I think like when it comes out to in a place where we can buy it in our Vudu and like review it, I definitely want to go deeper into it because there's really not much I could say without like spoiling some stuff. It's just actually, and my fiance saw it with me and she liked it. She liked it a lot more than I did. I couldn't believe how little I enjoyed it. Like I really, because I loved Scare Me, but Scare Me was a lot. Scare Me only had like 4 actors in the entire movie, and 90% of the movie happened in one fucking room. And on like such a small scale, what they did with that creative space. But in this movie, he gets like a whole village. It's like kind of like a comedy version of Resident Evil Village if there was only the werewolves. And it doesn't feel like he utilizes the cast or just any element like to its full potential. I'm actually very interested to see what Jer would think of it actually. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait on that. But that's what I saw. I saw it in theaters. I saw it on Friday night. Super disappointed. But I also did get hibachi in Coolidge Corner in Brighton or Brookline right before. And the hibachi was delicious. Let me tell you guys about that hibachi. It was amazing. We had like one of those hibachi cooks that like flipped, the fucking, he cut up the thing, the little piece of vegetable and flipped it in your mouth. But he couldn't hit anybody in his mouth. And then later on in the night, me and my fiance saw there was like another chef at another table or another grill or whatever, and he got in everybody's mouth, and we were like, "Why did we get the shitty one? Why did we? Why did we get the guy with the, who has no depth perception?" But yeah, so that was my Friday night. But anyway, the food was delicious, and we also got some sushi, and that was also good. Okay, so let's move on. Let us move on to our news. And listen, our first news story is like such a plot twist, right? Just Bill Cosby. Okay. Is he like, in the eyes of the law, this guy is innocent now, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. It's because they call it a processing violation or something.
Yeah.
Well, then he had an agreement before to say that they wouldn't prosecute him. So
this
I don't
is
know.
Our first story.
I'm not too sure.
I think it wipes it off the record. That it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Which
because I think they kind of have to make him whole again, and the only way to do that is to go back and say, "Well, actually, you're innocent, and we can't try you again for this same crime."
Yeah.
And it's just weird to me.
Sorry.
It's just weird to me, right? Because basically, so this went to like a higher court in Pennsylvania where he was originally tried, right? And apparently, the higher court ruled that it didn't count because they used other women. They had brought other women into as like character witnesses, saying he did this to me too. And I don't know why that. I mean, character witnesses are a thing in the law, right? In like courts. Mm-hmm. Like anytime I've ever seen any kind of legal drama, like that's been a component of that. Yeah. So I guess the question is Bill Cosby redeemed now? Is he is he innocent now? Let's start with Robbo. Do you think Bill Cosby is innocent?
Is he going to sneak back into the public eye like Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think he can come back from that, really, can he?
Yeah. I think it's a tall order.
Yes.
It's a weird space, I think.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
But what do you think personally, Robbo?
To be honest, it's not a story that's been really big in the UK. We were aware of it because it came out around the same time as the Me Too and Harvey Weinstein and everything. I think once he'd gone to prison, that was it. That's the last we heard of him. And the first I heard of this was this afternoon when it was breaking news. I don't know. I think personally, I think courts should be about whether someone's guilty or innocent, not whether processes were followed or whatever. I really don't think that he could come back from this. Whether he'd want to, I don't know how old he is at the moment. Is he in his 80s, 90s?
Must be. Yeah, he's 83, I think.
83, yeah. So I think he'll probably sneak off somewhere and go into hiding, or maybe he won't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends if he has
and also, it came out at the same time. Just it's kind of funny, like another wrinkle in this is that the news dropped at the same time that we found out that James Franco is going to be paying $2.2 million to settle a sexual harassment lawsuit.
Oh wow!
Oh, and he reached a settlement in one.
Yeah, I've heard that he's been accused people of inappropriate behaviour, but I didn't realise because that obviously must have been swallowed up in the whole Cosby. So maybe that was a smokescreen. Maybe Franco manufactured this. How deep is conspiracy?
Yeah,
you conspiracy nuts.
Yeah, he spent another $2 million and bribed the fucking judges. Okay, Cheeto, what do you think? You think Bill Cosby's innocent now that this has happened?
Well, this is the thing. I think obviously there's a law that you have over there that we don't have over here, and there's statute of limitations, isn't it? And the only reason why he wasn't tried for more is because obviously that came into fruition, because I know there's been loads of women, isn't there, out there that have claimed sexual harassment or whatever, and I just think it's been nearly 3 years, and I just think his reputation has already been tarnished. His whole image. He's almost he became a meme as well and stuff. So that's powerful stuff as well, isn't it? So I don't think he can come back from this. You know, he's a big name, so he might try. But
you look at the people who are supporting him. You've got Kanye West.
Is Kanye West still supporting him? I don't think so.
You know. Maybe run for president of Dominican. I don't know.
You could have passed him, but I don't know. It's. I think I don't know if he might try and, because he's crazy, and he might try and have a comeback of sorts. But I don't know what he'd do. I don't know if there'd be someone out there who'd want him to be on a show or on a TV show or whatever, you know. Yeah. So I just think his reputation's tarnished and his image too much.
I think him and Louis C.K. can go on tour together. That wouldn't be a bad. I'm sorry, that wouldn't be a bad show. It'd be an awkward show to watch. Yeah. You know, it's a show that you're not going to tell people you're going to go and buy a ticket for.
Yeah.
You know. And then of course Felice Rashad made this. Wrote this tweet. Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected. And then, of course, just got, I would say, appropriately dragged on Twitter about it. I mean, and then had to I fully support survivors of sexual assault.
I should add, Saeed Jones, the writer, pointed out that she is the dean of students at I can't remember what college it was, but so I'm just guessing that second tweet was after some students were like, she should not be the dean of students if this is how she treats sexual assault.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, and I think that she's absolutely wrong, and it's absolutely disgusting that she wrote it, but I mean, she was probably making so much money off the Cosby Show. Everybody who was on the Cosby Show was royalty checks, baby. Were making bank, even in decades after. They were making so much money. They all lost a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? They all lost, a lot of money by him going down. So I'm sure that it's call up TV Land. Let's get the Cosby Show back on the reruns. But yeah, okay, Jer, what do you think? You think Bill Cosby's innocent now?
No, but it's also I kind of think it's kind of funny because he kind of has no choice but to just fuck off and just be old in his whatever farm he owns out in Western Mass. It's he's too big a guy to do I'm gonna do a bunch of club shows. He's not gonna do that. Louis C.K. can do smaller stuff venues, but Bill Cosby can't.
I'm gonna do black box theaters. Any mid-level venue is gonna want my business.
But you're also not gonna want his face billboard sized outside of a theater. So he's just gonna hopefully. I mean, he seems to have immense amounts of wealth that he can just live off of until he's dead, which hopefully will be soon.
Wait, Louis C.K. or Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby, but I think Louis is also probably doing all right.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, he was in jail for 3 or 4 years, right?
2 years.
Like that? Yeah. 2 years, really? I mean, even 2 years in jail is a long time. And I mean, there were stories that came out. During that time where he was having a miserable as fuck time in there. Especially, I mean, he was in prison during COVID. I mean, that had to be an especially horrifying, and he's gonna be dead soon anyway. So at this point, I'm hoping that he just dies. Just just in a video game. That is Twitch censors.
My favorite thing is the tweets that were like, "What a miracle! He can see again." During his court case, he was saying that he was blind, and I can't be tried for rape. I'm blind now. I'm so old and evil.
I'm not going to get a hate from this from Cosby supporters.
It's okay. I don't think anybody who's a Cosby supporter is probably not watching.
I would like to stand up.
Yeah, absolutely not. And if they are, hey, Cosby supporters, fuck your dude.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, you dumb assholes. And shove it. But yeah, okay. So let's move on from one miscarriage of justice to potentially another. So let's do it. We've covered this before on the show. For those of you not in the know, Britney Spears obviously has been kind of a prisoner of this conservatorship where she has just no control over her immense wealth that she has accrued, and she is, very much treated like a child well into her, what is she, 30s now, right? Yep. Late 30s, almost 40, right? And is just legally has no just no standing on her own behalf, right? She has no agency. She's she's like a female character in a fucking Christopher Nolan movie. And lobbing bombs. We know that Dan Harold's in the chat right now. I expect a 20 paragraph comment from him anytime. So there's just a quick update, and before we get into the update, Robbo and Cheeto.
Yeah.
How much do you hear about Britney Spears in England? It's always fascinating to me. What news items are big there?
Well, I mean, everyone knows who she is, and everyone knows about the instance in what started this all off in 2007. But I heard about it maybe a week ago or whenever it came out. It was all over Facebook. It was all on the socials. So we do hear about it. I think it's more well known than the Cosby one.
Really?
I don't think we have the sort of entertainment news that you have, where it's sort of 24/7. It'll be maybe part of another news item or something. I seem to remember there being a documentary series about Britney Spears
on Hulu.
No, this was in the UK. I think it might be in Hulu out there.
It's true. Yeah, that's right. You guys different. I forget different things show up on different services.
I'm sure it's a documentary series shot that was on a little while ago. But yeah, we obviously heard about various meltdowns and involuntary stays in hospital and things like that. Well, that's about as much as we knew about her. Obviously, once she gave up sort of singing and that, she went away a bit, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's still, I think she was a very big Bernie supporter, which, I always thought was cool. She's very much power to the people. She's a comrade, she's going to be, when the revolution happens, she's going to be doing the guillotining. She will not be guillotined.
She'll be last in line for the guillotine.
She'll be last in line. It depends on how much she's willing to redistribute. You just that's gonna be a point of contention if we're gonna leave her and Mark Ruffalo alive. It's like you guys, money where your mouth is, time, guys. See some of that Hulk money, Mark. But yeah. So one of the things that actually my fiance was telling me about, before she left for the week, she's been gone all week, and I've been sleeping with the light on because I am a baby, and I can't sleep alone. But she was telling me that people have been dogging her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, who, of course, was a child actress who left her Nickelodeon show Zoe 101 through mysterious, mysterious way, kind of had like a secret baby who the identity of the father we still don't know. Although some people think it was, what's his name? What's that Nickelodeon pedophile's name?
Dan something or other?
Oh, is that the one with the foot fetish? Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, Dan, what's his name?
Yeah.
Dan, what's his fuck? It was kind of funny because I was just watching the iCarly Ruby. I've made it maybe 3/4 of the way through the first episode of the iCarly reboot before I was like, nope, no thank you, this is painful. But that dude's name was on it. That dude's name was on it for iCarly created by Dan, whatever his name is. And
was it Schneider? Is that his name?
Dan Schneider, yes. Dan Schneider, yes. Yes. Somehow the worst Schneider. Somehow worse than Rob Schneider.
Would you want to see the Schneider part of iCarly?
Schneider cut.
Um,
I
um,
can't. No way.
No.
But anyway, that's a story for another segment. But Jamie Lynn Spears was very silent for the longest time about Britney's conservatorship, and just to kind of give her any sort of public support. But she has broken her silence, and then saying that the conservatorship is abusive, and basically kind of clarified her stance. And just basically said that the only reason I haven't spoken before is because I felt like my sister is able to speak for herself and say what she felt she needed to say publicly, and that wasn't my place, and it wasn't the right thing to do, etc., etc. But now that Britney Spears has come out and spoken about her conservatorship, she feels like she can follow her lead, and I mean, good on her for supporting her sister. Wait, maybe I skipped a step because maybe I should be talking about, basically Britney Spears spoke out, right? Jared, do you want to, can you clarify the timeline of events for me?
Actually, last week while we were doing the show, if viewers were seeing me being distracted, it's because on Twitter, people were summarizing what she said. I didn't want to bring it up on the show until I got the full thing of her going to court and actually speaking directly about her life situation for the first time. So that once I got a transcript of that, I was able to react a little bit. But it was pretty surprising to find out that she's very deeply controlled and says that she can't have kids because she has an IUD, but can't go to a hospital because whoever's in charge of her day-to-day scheduling won't take her to the hospital to get that out. So it's things like that are really restrictive, and it's kind of
that's fucked up. That's
reading the whole thing it's weird because there's some stuff that's weird tangents where I'm I don't know what she means by this, but also there's stuff in there that's wow, she's actually really it sounds like a really horrible way to live, just being essentially a workhorse to make money for other people. So that confirmed a lot of what fans had been saying about her situation for years. And so now we're here, and
then her father spoke out.
Yeah,
and basically just
wants
the court to investigate.
The New York Times did that documentary. He could have been in it.
Do we know actually how much her whatever estate is worth, or how much money you're talking about?
I mean, it's got to be
So.
If he's fighting this hard to keep a stranglehold over it, it's got to be a significant sum of money.
I mean, she's the biggest pop star of her generation, so I gotta imagine that even just her name as a brand, it's got to be worth a lot, whether or not she's directly doing anything with it.
It's true. And I remember a while ago she had that Vegas show. I wonder if that was something she was forced into.
She says that it wasn't fully wasn't fully her choice.
God damn, dude, that sucks. But yeah, and then
as well.
Sorry,
Federline.
I'm sorry.
I think her ex-husband. There was an article that he'd spoken out about it as well.
Yeah, and then he was I think it was just him kind of, verbally supporting her and just said, that I love her and, when we're all rooting for her essentially, right? It was it was just positive. It was in support. I mean, and then of course the conservators or whatever they call them, are just basically saying, just disputing the other comments that she made, that her hopes to get married again and her hopes to have more kids, say that have nothing to do with this and that they wouldn't block it. And, and then the IOD thing, so I guess, the question is, who do you believe? Let's start with Jared for this one. Who do you believe? The woman or the men in control of her?
Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to believe her until, until more information comes that, contradicts that. I'll believe her. I don't think she has. I mean, she has a lot to gain, let's say, but it seems, I don't know, fucking weird that her her situation seems very managed just on the outside. Like, she doesn't seem like, you look at like whatever she's presenting on social media, it's like there's a like weirdness to it, at least. And not in a fun John Cena way, but in a weird, in a weird, like, as much as I want to say that everybody who's like, if she blinks 13 times, that's her trying to send a secret message to us. Like, the conspiracy theorists are crazy, but I'm like, it's weird enough that I'm like, you're not 100%. I'm not going to count you 100% on this.
I mean, yeah, I'm also inclined to believe her, obviously, but, even you said that, in that statement that she made, some of the things that she said just kind of sounded a little loopy, But, hey, I've seen so many crazy people that are in complete charge of, complete charge of their lives, including myself. I am including, I should not be in charge of my finances, and I should not be, raising a cat alone this week. I am so impressed that I've managed to feed my cat 3 times per day, every day, and clean her little litter box without the help of my fiance. I'm
inclined to think that even if like something's quote unquote wrong with her, I think it's her money to lose. If she wants to have $80 million and put it all on a horse that has 3 legs, I don't think I should be able to stop her. I or anybody should stop her.
I mean, we're in the same country that let Donald Trump run it. Somebody call Kitty DCF. No, that was a joke. I love my kitty. I would never let anything happen to my kitty.
And he said he did do the stuff to take care of it.
Yeah.
He's just surprised he did it.
Yes.
It's
well, I also have my other... Wait, what?
It's a common story where you hear stories about these child actors where parents take over and they get of age and say, "Where's the money?" And they go, "Well, there's none left."
Yeah.
So it's not a news story. It's just you've got to look at who benefits from her being under this control. Does she or her father?
Mm-hmm.
What's his motive for wanting to keep her under his thumb?
Yeah.
You might have to go and get a proper job.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing, though. This is, I think, a bit different, though, because Macaulay Culkin, his parents might have been, very shitty with his finances, right? But when he got to adulthood, he was in full control of his life and was capable of making decisions for himself. I mean, if Britney Spears is telling the truth, and she literally has an IUD that they implanted that she cannot get removed without permission of her conservator, like that is a special level of fucked up that I have not seen. Yeah. I mean, I cannot. That doesn't correlate with any story that I've ever heard.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these things are set up for old people, and I mean, it can be a scam in that situation too. But it's just unusual for it to be like a 39-year-old woman who can apparently do a Vegas show for 300 days a year.
Yeah, but can't decide whether or not she can have another kid. I mean, it's fucked up. Okay, but so let's go to Cheeto. Cheeto, what do you think? Whose side are you on? Team Britney?
I still believe her, but as a story as a whole, I don't believe the full thing. I believe parts of it, but until something comes out, I think I'm on Team Britney, as you say. But it's a very weird story. It is because today was the first time I actually looked it all up, and it just was a lot of information to take in. But at this moment in time, I'm Team Britney at the moment. But I don't believe the full story. I think some of it is a bit weird. But yeah, Team Britney, I am.
When you say you don't believe the full story, what do you think is
certain aspects? What was it? Put me on the spot now.
What do you think's far-fetched to you? Like the IUD stuff?
Yeah. It's just the things with the Vegas show and stuff, But I mean, I have to do some more research. But like I said, at this time in time, I'm on Team Britney. But yeah, I'll have to properly look into it and make a proper opinion on that.
Problem is, she's got a history of mental health.
Yeah, and that is the thing.
And so she could be in a state where she's easily to manipulate, and you know, she could be on all sorts of medication.
Could work the other way though,
You know,
where she's
well,
made it up in her
yeah,
head.
maybe.
So you really don't know, do you?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. How do you feel, Robbo? About the same?
Yeah, about the same. Yeah, like I say, it was a lot of information to take in today, but like I said, you know, you got to look at who benefits from her being in this situation, and it's a fact. She doesn't benefit at all from anything in this situation. It's all one sided. So I'm definitely Team Britney at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, it would take a lot for me to not be Team Britney at this point. I mean, it would have to be. I mean, it would have to be like, you know, I don't know, video evidence of her trying to drown one of her kids or some shit. Like it would have to be, you know, I mean, that's how much it would take. I'm generally inclined to believe the woman in these situations, you know, I mean, like I don't know, you know, what you could get to convince me otherwise in this situation. I am absolutely #free Britney all the way. Free Britney all day, like Nikki in the comments. Free Britney! Free Comrade Britney, so she can lead all us leftists to the fucking land of milk and honey, baby. Okay, so I don't want to. So let's move on. So let's go to our final news item. I don't want to hover here super long. And I suppose I would bet money that Robbo and Cheeto, have you guys heard about this at all? Have you heard about this story?
Not till today, no.
This is a special edition one, kind of, because Kenice is a friend of ours, and also was
Another
our
Boston
guest.
comic.
Yep, was a guest on our show like a month ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Oh yeah. Jesus Christ, it's been a long 2 weeks for me.
It's been a long 2 weeks for everybody.
Yeah. So like we had her on the show like just after she had gotten hired as a writer for WWE, the wrestling company. And she got fired like within her first week because she, on a different podcast that was not ours, said that she
said the same shit on our podcast, by the way. Because I asked her how much she knew about WWE, and she said, I don't know a fucking thing, and she didn't even know like the names of the current champions. Like literally everything she said on this podcast, she said on ours. And this fucking podcast is the one that goes viral, not ours. Which is a little bullshit if you ask me.
I'm mixed feelings. I'm a little bit bullshit, but I also would not want to be the cause of a friend losing a job. So that, you know, yes, I agree with Free Kenice. But yeah, so basically, because this podcast like audio went, you know, viral a little bit, and like people were like, what? She's writing for WWE, but she can't tell me who won the 1993 Royal Rumble. Like, fuck that. Fuck her. Like, so right now, so she got fired. And I think, what was it, like 2 days ago, she had an Instagram story that was like, I'm still getting messages from people who are fucking being asshole wrestling fans at me. So her socials are all locked because of it. And it just fucking sucks and makes me so mad, both as a friend and as a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling is like especially Vince McMahon's section of wrestling is you know, so awful and toxic.
Yeah.
But and then Nikki in the comments, she did say the same stuff on the Film Simps. I can't confirm. Yes, Nikki witnessed it. She said the same thing, and then went viral for saying it on a different podcast.
Yeah.
And hashtag free the Film Simps.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it is. You know, I mean, and I feel really bad for her, right? I feel very bad for her. I think she's extremely talented. I think, like, so many stories of people's ascent to, you know, Hollywood royalty is filled with, I was on this show, you know, like, I mean, you know, just to bring him, I know we love to bring him up, right? But, I mean, back before it was a naughty word to say, you know, or naughty thing to say Louis C.K.'s name, you know, he did an interview with Mark Maron, right? He was comedy royalty for quite a few years. And, I mean, he had a whole interview with Mark Maron where he talked about, you know, he did this showcase for Comedy Central, and the Comedy Central executives were late, right? And Jon Stewart was hosting the show, and so Jon Stewart tried to do, like, he did like 20 minutes up top to try to stall because Louis C.K. was first on the lineup, and he wanted to stall to try to get so he could get Louis in front of the Comedy Central executives, and fucking apparently they showed up halfway through Louis' set. And like fucking we're just like bitching at the waitress and like ordering drinks and shit. And then by the time he finished his set, like that was when they were finally like starting to look at the show, and literally everybody on the showcase got hired and not him. He was the only person who didn't get a Comedy Central gig out of it, either writing for a show or appearing on, something. And then 20, 30 years later, the dude was on a podcast saying it's like at this point, like, nobody else, like you wouldn't even know who else was on that Comedy Central, showcase. Like I was, I'm, far and away the most notable person on that from that lineup, I mean, like, so I think like she is an extremely talented person. She is wonderful and she will bounce back. But on others end, I mean, it's like you did get this gig and then proceed to go on a bunch of podcasts and talk about how woefully ill-equipped you were for the job.
Well, I think we've all been there, haven't we? Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. I mean,
I've bullshit myself into a job and then been escorted off the premises 10 minutes into it. True story.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, this is a public figure, so she has to put up with all the sort of social media backlash and things like that, which isn't useful, is it?
Yeah,
I just think
evil,
it's bullshit.
horrible.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there must be a reason why WWE hired her in the first place, and it's not her fault if she doesn't know It's WWE came to her to hire her for her story writing, so it's not her fault that she doesn't know the current champions or whatever. So I think the whole thing's bullshit, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to learn. You get as someone who has watched a lot of wrestling, WWE shows specifically, they'll tell you everything you need to know about every character every 5 minutes. So it's not exactly.
I remember the start of WWF, first Royal Rumble, I think it was, and So wrestling fans are quite.
They can be good at times. They can be really bad at the same time. It's just one of those things, and because they're so passionate about it, and you know what I mean. But like I said, there's reasons why, but I don't think she deserved the backlash at all. I think that was totally like you said. She could have learned all the names and that, but like I said, WWE came to her. They got her. They hired her for her story writing. So
yeah.
She was actually going to write the storylines for the wrestling.
Yeah, I think it says that.
For the Raw show,
Yeah.
So which sweaty guy beats which other sweaty guy?
Yeah, right. It's not rocket science. Though I did say...
Who wins today, the heel or the face?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I did see a wrestling journalist compare writing WWE to heart surgery. That's a thing I fucking forgot. Because I think somebody was like, they came to, like, making the point that you did, like, they came to her and, like, they offered her the job, like, and he was like, well, if a fucking hospital asked me to do heart surgery, I'd have the brains to say no, and I'm like, they're not the same skill. I get
Yeah. That is such a bad faith argument.
It's terrible.
That is
terrible.
I could bullshit it for 10 minutes, but I'd be escorted off the
I mean, I'd tell him to unplug the monitor a little bit before, and then let me cut in.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things, I don't want to generalize and say like wrestling fans, because Jer is a very big wrestling fan. Literally every time I've ever watched wrestling has been because I used to live with Jer and he just had it on, and I would just be like, well, I want to hang out down here, so I guess I'm watching wrestling, so I think it's, I just think that, the internet, there's a good chunk of the internet that is a toxic, horrible place filled with toxic, horrible people. And some of those people will go, some of those people are very passionate about Star Wars and Rick and Morty, and politics and conservative politics, and also fucking liberal politics, and will use that as an excuse because they are just horrible, toxic people, and will use that excuse to harass people. I don't think you can straight up say wrestling fans are all toxic, because every person that I know that's a wrestling fan thinks Kenice got screwed, and especially there's a friend of mine who's another comic, AJ Haypenny, who's kind of famous on TikTok actually, and who does a lot of wrestling stuff and is very popular in TikTok wrestling communities, who is just saying I've been me and all of the creators I work with are going to bat for her hard. Obviously she's probably not going to get the job back, and she probably doesn't want it, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it either about her.
And if anything, now she has a story. Now she has I got harassed by wrestling Twitter for 2 weeks. And Jer, you just got canceled by BTS fans.
Yes,
about a month ago, right? So I mean,
it's a bunch of people sticking our noses where they don't belong,
We maybe turn it into a live show with all the publicity.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be a pump in.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway though, my heart goes out to Kenice if you're watching. You're not. But I mean, hey man, she got closer to writing for a TV show than I ever did.
Yeah.
So good on you, Kenice. But let us move on to our next segment, which always love this. This is just some of the best shit in the show. Come on, I'm pulling up a link right now. So we're gonna move to our trailer section, and we're gonna watch some trailers. And like every week, what we do is we post all the trailers on the Shushies Cinema Facebook group, and we let the people in that group decide and vote. And also, just real quick, I just saw this comment. Nikki said the latest episode of Rick and Morty was trash. That is factually inaccurate. It was actually a masterpiece. And and if you didn't get it, it's just you just don't get it. But it was fantastic. It is legitimately.
Before we get into the trailers, because you put in our group chat the results of the voting. Shushi said the Facebook group, you did a good job this week. Usually
you chose the two best ones.
Yeah, usually I'm like, man, these fucking unwashed masses with their stupid fucking bullshit. But this time I was like, all right, this is a good couple of them.
Yeah. Although I will never forgive Dan Harold for voting for Turner and Hooch. You son of a bitch. I'm glad that you were the only vote. He was the only vote on Turner and Hooch. And I'm glad he was the only one. But okay, so this was far and away the highest voted one. So this is the trailer for the Sopranos prequel movie with an all-new cast, although James Gandolfini's actual real-life son, Michael, plays young Tony. And as somebody who is watching Sopranos for the first time right now and is almost done with season 2, holy fuck, does he look eerily like his father. I mean, this looks like Tony in fucking high school. It is creepy. Anyway, so let's watch this trailer and then let's talk about it.
When I was a kid, guys like me were brought up to follow codes.
Hey, jerk off. What'd you say? What?
Antonio Soprano.
I wonder if I can talk to you alone for a moment, Mrs. Soprano. On the basis of the Sanford Binet, he's high IQ.
You can't prove it by me. He's got a D+ average.
Well, he doesn't apply himself, but he is smart. The results tell us he's a leader.
Man, his mom's such a bitch, dude.
Ankle dick.
Growing up with the family takes a toll.
Maybe
ambassador to England or France.
You're my nephew.
Might like to gamble.
I want to do whatever I can to help you. My gift to you.
I want to go to college. I can't get caught with shit like this.
Look, you take the speakers, right? At the same time, you say to yourself, this is the last time I'm ever gonna steal something. It's that simple.
Let me go talk to him.
He only listens to Dickie.
Gotta do something about Dickie Malasani.
Maybe some of the things you do aren't God's favorite.
You lead by example. We'll make the right decision. This kid's got what it takes.
As far as your nephew goes,
I'm listening.
Stay out of his life.
There we go. There's the theme song. Gabagoo, baby, gabagoo. So I asked you guys at the top of the show, Robbo and Cheeto. So you guys, neither of you have ever seen The Sopranos.
Like I said, I started watching it. I got about 2 episodes in, but I just couldn't get into it. Maybe it's just the time that you have to invest in a like a series like that.
Yeah.
Because how many seasons is there?
6.
7, right? Or 6?
6 or
6,
7.
but the last one is about the length of like a 1.5 or 2 seasons. Yeah.
But I'm definitely
and it has on HBO Max. It has a 6A and 6B.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's not a 6 and 7. It's 6 and 6A and 6B. Yeah.
So I think I will give it. I might give it another go. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Based on that was pretty good.
I mean, does it? Obviously, it's only a trailer, but does it look like it carries the same themes from the original TV show? Just from that, like I said, it's only a segment, but
I kind of don't think it does. It kind of just looks like it's its own thing for the most part.
yeah, trying to be its own entity. Yeah.
I think I read an interview with David Chase where he said that like one of the central things about The Sopranos is like Tony's this tough guy, but like inside he's got like a little bit of a soft, like
got a good center.
So like, but like this is like the inverse where he's like a soft kid who gets hardened by the life. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, and my brother told me that there was a spoiler in that trailer, and I just watched it again. I don't know what the spoiler is.
I don't know what he's fucking talking about.
What the fuck is this?
Tell him to DM me, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Unless it's like that his dad is in jail, but like, I don't know.
Oh, is that the fact? Oh, Ray Liotta's his dad? That was his dad?
I think that's what Ray Liotta's playing. I don't know. For sure. Because a different actor, of course, played him in the flashbacks in the show. So
it's true, yes. And they got way hotter people to play all these characters in this movie than in the flashbacks. All the people, whenever they do like a flashback to Tony's childhood in the show, like all those actors are hideous. And then all of a sudden the mom's Vera Farmiga, and you're like, dude, God, I cannot believe Vera Farmiga melted into Tony's mom. Although, I mean, performances on the show, I love The Sopranos, but I will say that the performances on the show range from like some of the best acting I've ever seen, like James Gandolfini. I think that, especially like his therapist every season has her own like subplot that just goes, and she's in like this loopy, like just, her agreeing to see a mobster has like just thrown her life into like disarray and shit. And she's great. And what's the name of the actress that plays Tony's wife? Nurse Jackie, what's her name? Edie Falco is amazing, incredible, but then it's like his daughter Meadow is just trash. Just like so many like minor characters will just be like piss poor. Although I will say Polly Walnuts, knowing the dude who played Polly Walnuts just was a gangster that they just like pulled out of obscurity to play this character. That just makes Polly Walnuts, because he just is Polly Walnuts, man. Anyway. Anyway, give it a chance, Robbo, man. It is if you once you start to give it like the first season. If you don't like it after the first season, then you're not going to like it.
Is the quality consistent through episode to episode? Is it one that you get a good one, you get a bad one, you get one where lots happen somewhere?
There are occasional bad episodes,
Yeah.
but like nothing like disastrous, and in general, they're very good.
I would say the first season. I'm granted. I'm only like I think I'm on episode 9 or 10 of season 2. I would say the first season there were like 2 like dumb episodes in a row, like 2 episodes that just had nothing to do with the plot. Although the final 2 episodes of the first season are like great. Like all of a sudden the plot starts moving at like a breakneck pace, and people are like trying to kill other people, and and you're like seeing like some actual action scenes and shit. And then I will say season 2, it's clear that like you got to keep in mind that The Sopranos was like kind of the beginning of the modern prestige TV.
Yeah.
I think like some of the ideas introduced in Sopranos were kind of started to get perfected right around Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
Breaking Bad and Mad Men was like, they took like the Sopranos and The Wire and 6 Feet Under, and then they like kind of, they streamlined that shit. And like, and it's so clear that like season 1, they kind of didn't really have like, they weren't entirely focused, but season 2, the beginning of season 2, immediately I could tell that like they buckled down and they're like, okay, let's get better at cinematography. Let's get better at this. Let's get better at that. Like they use music better. Like it's just season 2 kind of is just a lot more focused, and the story overall for the season is just a lot. It like there's no where I am in the show in season 2. I haven't felt like anything in season 2 was kind of just biding its time. It all felt needed to further the plot, which I didn't feel with season 1. Anyway, does anybody have anything else they want to say about this trailer?
No.
Jared, do you have anything to say?
Fucking fantastic music. Nikki pointed it out in the comments. It's, I guess, Mountain's cover of Gotta Serve Somebody by Bob Dylan. I watched the trailer like 4 times just for the music, actually. So, one of my favorite underrated Dylan songs.
Cool. But yeah, and to both of you, watch Sopranos. I'm gonna get caught up for this movie. I'm gonna get caught up so me and Jared can review this movie. And when does it come out? October
1st. Got plenty of time.
October 1st.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. And with the way, although, I'm sorry.
A week.
Yeah.
Start watching now. Put on the pilot again in the background as I do this show. Okay,
Also,
the second,
I do think it's kind of corny that it's like the story sounds like a very like Tony could have been anything. He's so IQ, but he got corrupted. It's kind of a played out idea, but I do like all the little details. Like I like that Vera Farmiga looks a lot like looks and sounds a lot like Carmela. It's like a weird fucking Oedipal thing that as a choice.
I mean, and I think also my brother was telling me that he's been tracking the development here, and he says that he was surprised how focused this trailer was on Tony, because the creator, David Chase, has done multiple interviews where he said that that Tony's really going to be like a minor player in the movie, that actually John Bernthal and Leslie Odom Jr.'s characters are going to be the de facto stars of the movie, and it's going to mainly focus on them, but Tony's teenage corruption is going to be just kind of one of the byproducts of all the events that happen. So I really think that HBO Max decided to cut this trailer and make it super Tony focused, because that is how they're going to try and sell this movie. But I don't know if it's going to be indicative of like the grander sense. I think like when we see this movie, there might be other elements, even though Leslie Odom and John Bernthal are barely in this trailer, like at fucking all. And who knows? There might be another trailer that kind of, now that they've like acknowledged that this is like a Sopranos prequel, there might be another trailer that comes out that's going to show way more of them and give you a sense of their plot. Anyway. Who knows? Who knows, right? Who knows? Okay. Next trailer. This is a Netflix movie that I I'm hoping is good. I hope to hell it's good because it looks dope. This is The Harder They Fall, starring Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, Zazie Beetz, probably missing like 5 other amazing black actors, and you know, it just looks fantastic. Here we go.
Here I come.
What the hell are you doing? There ain't nowhere to board a train, you damn stupid bitch!
You know, you might could have said nincompoop.
We ain't no nincompoop.
Here I come.
Open it.
We're gonna play for you our first tune. It's called Let's Start What We Have Come Into the Room to Do. Right, here goes. 1, 2, 3.
You do know how to make a grand entrance.
I know who you are. The angel who hunts down those who trespass against him with no mercy.
You miss me?
Admit it. I'm liking it with the blam blams. Ooh.
And Nikki in the comment just fawning over Idris Elba and Regina King. And I agree. I also think I talked about this on the show either last week or the week before, but I just watched Jonathan Majors in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and his performance in that is like electrifying, and I am so excited for this. But let's start with Cheeto. What do you think?
Well,
This looks like something you watched?
Before Unforgiven, though, because it's obviously a Western, but after Unforgiven, like I said, it's really opened my eyes. So yeah, it looks very good. I mean, once again, I don't know if it's probably going to come out over here. I hope it does. And I like Idris Elba as well. He's one of my favorite TV actors because if you know Luther, that's when I first saw him in, and it's brilliant series. Ever since then, anything he's in, I really liked. So yeah, no, it looks really good, and it's a good cast as well. So yeah, like I said, Westerns weren't my thing, but now Jude Unforgiven, yeah.
Yeah.
As and when it comes out, definitely going to see it. And like I said, I do like Idris Elba, so.
I mean, yeah. Robbo, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got to say, Westerns are probably one of my favourite genres, actually. I would say it's probably nothing we haven't seen before in other films, like The Magnificent Seven and that kind of thing.
Is it a true story, or is it a complete original? Because there's always that.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Doesn't look like it's based on anything.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, it looks nice. It's obviously well shot. You got some great actors in there, and the music obviously going 60s soul. So yeah, I'll probably give it a go. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, Jer, what do you think?
Yeah, give it to me. I love westerns also, and they make so few of them that you can watch all of them as they come out at this point. So like I'm on board with this one. I'll watch it. I know Idris Elba was in another Netflix movie where he has a horse. So I was a little confused that this trailer came up. I think that one he's got a horse in the city. But this one looks like an actual Western, and I'm very excited to I hope it's good. The cast is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly how I feel. Like, I'm really hoping, because this trailer looks fantastic. Just the joke, the N-word joke at the beginning, right? And then just like the whole sequence of them rescuing Idris Elba and him just coming out and just and then just all of that. They cue up like this live performance, and it's like this awesome funk song. Just so well done. I'm hoping that's not just a good trailer and that it is a good movie. Because
I've comes across as
I've been burned
stylish,
before.
but yeah, like you say, if that might just be the trailer. So
yeah,
because the worrying thing is they always show you the best bits in the trailer, and the rest of the movie shit. So.
I mean, although I do feel like it's a trend with shittier movies, they will show you just the entire plot in the trailer. I feel like more often than not, if I watch a trailer and I have no idea what's going to happen in that movie, it's probably a good movie. It's probably excuse me, hopefully. Anyway,
and I do have a history.
So I'm hoping
that's originals as well, being bitten.
Well, I mean, it's like anybody. It's like any studio.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean, what my favorite movie last year was Mank. I loved that movie.
I watched that recently. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a big fan of Citizen Kane, and that movie was basically Citizen Kane DLC. And I was like, oh, sweet! Oh, they finally gave us a Citizen Kane patch. Awesome! Can't wait to try the Mank campaign. Here we go. Yeah, okay. So let's move on. So this next one was a late entry that got enough votes to push it up to third. So this is an Amazon Prime original movie with kind of a stacked cast for just how meh it looks, and at least that's how I feel. Maybe you guys will feel differently. Here's Jolt.
Lindy, this is not a cure. The only way we're going to make progress is cutting-edge, avant-garde treatment.
I've got this condition. It makes me snap.
Like Tourette's?
Just tiny bit more intense.
I've upped the voltage, but there's only so much that the human body can take.
Hello?
This is Detective Vickers.
Sounds like your guy was involved in some pretty sketchy business.
I'm gonna find who did this.
If you go down that path, you are never, ever going to get better.
Deal with her. You spent years being forced to repress your anger. But now, you have seen how powerful you can be when you embrace your rage.
Oh, seriously, you're gonna make me go through the whole face-stomping, bone-breaking, making a mess routine? Okay, fine.
You're gonna get somebody killed. I'm trying to help you.
Uh-huh. How's that going for you?
What is it about gross old men always underestimating women?
Are you really that stupid?
You know what? I think I am exactly that stupid.
The Tooch is loose, baby. The Tooch is loose. Let's start with Rob this time. What do you think?
Yeah, it was good, but I think it's not an original idea, is it? Story. It's been done before.
It's girl crank.
Yeah,
Crank with girls.
Pretty much. Yeah. What's the other one with Scarlett Johansson in it?
Lucy.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
Lucy.
Yeah, and Salt is yeah. So this is kind of not an original idea, but yeah, it looks good. Certainly give it a go. I think.
Fine.
And it's got a good cast. And whenever you got the caretaker from Hogwarts in there, banging room.
Jared, let's go with you. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks fine. Like it literally looks like the movie we're going to review for the show. But like with the female lead, I was kind of hoping it would lean a little bit more into like the Crank thing. Like it looked like she would get like an electric jolt and good violence or whatever. And I'm like, they haven't made a sequel to Crank 2, and I'm still waiting on that. But I guess they're just going to do a John Wick clone, and that's fine. I guess we gotta bide time between John Wick movies somehow, and this seems as good a way as any.
I just realized actually today after watching, because I watched Nobody this afternoon, and I just realized that that I think we were supposed to get John Wick 4 something like next week or the week after, back before the pandemic happened, because they like announced it right after John Wick 3 came out, and I was like, oh, fuck you, pandemic. Of all the things you took from me.
Instead, they're just starting filming,
including my grandmother. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Okay. Cheeto, what do you think?
Look at the cast; it's good. I mean, apart from Jai Courtney, I don't know. The only films I've seen Jai Courtney in is that shitty Die Hard film and the Terminator, the bad one. So I don't know who that is, but it's got one thing going for it, and that is the fact that the only other movie I've seen that's an Amazon original was Manchester by the Sea, and I love that film. So I don't know. Maybe that's got it going for it. I don't know, but it looks good. But like I said, it once again, it's been done a million times, but we'll just have to wait and see. It looks unoffensive, It looks like a decent movie you can just put on while you're doing something else, So I'll certainly give it a watch, though.
I'm sorry?
I'll certainly give it a watch, though, but it's.
I probably wouldn't watch that movie unless either one, the reviews made it sound stellar, or two, I had to do it for the show. I mean, I love so many of those actors. I love Bobby Cannavale because I watched all of Mr. Robot, which is actually on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen Mr. Robot, fantastic series, and he plays the character Irving on that show. He's fantastic. I mean, you can't really go by like, Amazon originals are good, and this is because like Amazon, like they're these are all basically studios now. They'll go to Sundance, they'll buy movies, movies that were made that never knew they were going to be Amazon originals. I saw A Glitch in the Matrix, the documentary at Sundance. And then it got bought by Hulu after I saw it, and then it was a Hulu original, but it wasn't a Hulu original when I saw it, and Jer hated it all the same. No Hulu needed.
What's your thoughts on Kate Beckinsale leading the movie? Because I don't think I've actually seen a film where she's been the main protagonist. I've seen Total Recall, the new one, but she was like a bit of a side character, wasn't she?
Yeah. So it's been like. What movie series was she was she the star of?
Underworld?
Yeah, that's it.
Underworld, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. She hasn't been in a long time.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, hopefully she can come back. I mean, this movie will live or die for me by how funny it is, because she has some funny lines in the trailer. It looks like they've. They're trying to make her like clever. Nikki in the comments says, "I'll watch this just for Laverne Cox," and I do love Laverne Cox. I mean, Orange is the New Black, great show. Susan Sarandon, Stanley Tucci, the Tooch. This movie's got Tooch. He's always the Tooch is always good, even when the movie's bad. Tooch is good. So I don't know. There's enough here that I would give it a chance, but it just looks conceptually, it looks too much like Crank, High Voltage. It just seems like you're just a cliche action thriller.
Really.
Super generic. Wait, she dated Pete Davidson and needed time to recover. Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah, poor anybody who dates Pete Davidson. Poor anybody. Okay, so let's do a couple more. Oh wow, people voted for Clifford the Big Red Dog. Let's skip that. Fuck that shit. Sorry, two people who voted for Clifford the Big Red Dog. Don't want to watch it.
I did watch it. We're not missing much.
Yeah, I've seen that trailer like 3 times now because I thought it was so bad, and then I went and showed different members of my family that trailer. And so it's just simply because I've already watched it 3 times just to marvel at how horrible it is. Everybody just look up the Clifford the Big Red Dog trailer on your own on YouTube and just know what you missed out on. And in the meantime, this is our next trailer. This is a long gestating adaptation. This is an adaptation of a book once thought completely unfilmable. And yet Apple TV Plus, baby, they have yet again done the impossible. Not only did they make sports watchable for me with Ted Lasso, they have now made the show Foundation, starring Jared Harris from Mad Men, who was incredible in Mad Men, and Lee Pace, who I just love Lee Pace. CGI Clifford is not okay. Yeah, no, it looks horrible. But here's the trailer for Foundation.
You can't save yourselves, but you can save your legacy.
You can't be here. You know that.
I can't be the first one who wanted to see my youngest self. Strange. Watching yourself being born.
A genetic dynasty has reigned for almost 4 centuries. The might of the Imperium has brought peace to thousands of worlds. But the beliefs of one man now threaten the Empire's very existence.
I'm not a revolutionary.
His calculations are correct. The Empire is dying.
Order will vanish. Wars will be endless.
Only we can shorten the darkness.
The man has amassed a following. People who hinge their hopes on every word Sultan utters. Words have a way of fanning into wildfires.
You can't save yourselves, but you can save your legacy.
It's funny that this trailer comes out the same day that Bill Cosby gets released from jail. Save your legacy, Cosby. Here, we're letting you out. But yeah, so that's very famous Isaac Asimov book series, which is kind of funny that this is coming to Apple TV Plus because Mythic Quest. The show Mythic Quest, which is an Apple TV Plus original. I don't know how much. I don't know. Do either of you guys watch that by any chance?
No.
So, Jer, how much Mythic Quest have you watched?
I've finished the series, the season.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You finished the second season?
Yep.
Oh, nice. So, in the second season, there is an episode where they flash back to the 70s, and one of the characters from the show actually, you find out that like his big work was actually kind of ghost written by Isaac Asimov. So it's kind of funny. It's a little bit of fun corporate synergy here that they're doing the Isaac Asimov show, and Nikki goes meh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. As far as the trailer, it looks. I like I said, I love the 2 actors. I love, of course, Lee Pace is like this emperor ruler who is just being reborn generation after generation to rule. And then of course Jared Harris is playing Bernie Sanders. So I think I have hopes for it. Yeah. I mean, it looks kind of blandish. Mm-hmm. It kind of looks a little up its own ass, but sometimes that can be good. As long as like the plot's good and it's thrilling. Jared, what do you think? What does this look like to you?
It looks fine. I'm not like particularly clear on what's going on, and it does. It certainly looks like Apple has a lot of money. That was my big takeaway. So I'm not really sold on it, but if I hear it's good, I'll probably check it out. Unless I'm watching 5 other shows and movies for this podcast, in which case maybe I won't.
Okay, Robbo, what do you think?
Not excited really by it. Again, it's like I said, you can't tell from the trailer what's going on. I think sometimes you have
this is a teaser.
Yeah, I know, but it just reminds me a bit of Stargate. I don't know why. Just maybe some of the costumes they're wearing, or it's like there's a bit of an Egyptian kind of thing going on, and they've borrowed from different sort of genres and films. I think you got a bit of Stargate, a bit of Star Wars, a bit of other things going on as well. But yeah, I don't think I would probably from that trailer. I probably wouldn't even bother, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you think? What about you, Cheeto?
I know
you concur. Do you concur with your father?
I know it's a bit odd because with us, obviously, we haven't seen the original. I know it's not everything, but we haven't seen the original source material. It's not really our thing, is it? Really, but it looks a bit dystopian,
like hardcore sci-fi.
This thing,
I don't mind that some off, but I just I don't know. It just looks too clean.
I agree with you. Also, I think it looks a bit like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek a bit as well. So it's obviously taken, and you know that is though. But I don't know. It's once again, it seems like it's been done a million times a bit. Look, like I said, it's that dystopian thing. It looks like one of the what's it called? Maze Runner movies. One of them ones. I don't know if it's the second one, like that type of style, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's
and you got the big homage to 2001, haven't you?
Yeah.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that movie? That was a big summer movie tentpole that bombed. Johnny something
John
or
Carter
Mars.
from Mars.
John Carter from Mars, right?
Yeah.
It kind of seems like it's kind of got the John Carter problem, right? Where like the book it's based on is so influential and like influenced so much sci-fi and kind of basically created the genre that so much sci-fi that came out kind of borrowed from it and aped from it. So when they finally get around to making the actual movie or TV show of that thing, like this Foundation or John Carter from Mars, that it just seems kind of like, well, yeah, we've seen this a million times, but yeah, because you saw this, they were all ripping this off. This is the original, man.
It's a shame,
Yeah, I kind of, I definitely don't think it's like an amazing trailer. I think it's kind of cool, like the, see yourself being born. And of course, just Lee Pace, and Nikki in the comments, of course, I'm going to highlight this yet again. Lee Pace is a god in all he does. I absolutely agree with this. I think Lee Pace is an incredible actor. Fantastic. Pushing Daisies, man. Fucking Halt and Catch Fire. Various movies he's done. Not so much in Guardians of the Galaxy or Captain Marvel, but outside of that, usually pretty stellar. And that's a good scene, like him just being like, oh, it's not every day you get to see yourself be born. I think that's intriguing. I think like if they can remember to make sure that these characters have personality and make them interesting for me to follow and create characters that I can care about and follow over the course of however long this series goes and get me invested in the plot on that level, then hell yeah, I'm totally down to watch it. But if it's just a bland sci-fi series and everything is just boring and, really shiny and nice to look at, but kind of no brain behind it or no personality. Yeah. I'm fucking out, I'm out. But okay. So, does anybody have anything else to say about the Foundation trailer before we go and move on to our final trailer, and then we're going to get to our movie review? Is that okay? You guys have one more trailer in you?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay, so our final trailer, funny enough, is also an Apple TV Plus. Man, Apple TV is really just fucking just diarrhea shitting them out. Just really just I mean, we're getting a lot of Apple TV stuff, Apple TV Plus, and a lot of it looks quality, honestly. So this is Schmigadoon, which is a musical parody with yet another stacked cast of comedic actors. And let's just watch it. Here we go.
Leave me alone! All I said is we should bail on the hike. I didn't mean us in general. I just meant the hike.
You don't want to make our relationship better?
Our relationship is fine.
that?
Church bells? Schmigadoon?
Welcome to our little town,
where friends are all you meet.
Must be something they do for tourists.
Hey, everyone!
Hey there, Pete! Woo!
Can we go now?
Already?
What?
We can't leave. It's like magic. We're in an actual musical.
Please, God, no.
Everybody!
They said we're only here till we found true love. Do you think this is true love?
What does that even mean? Who knows what Schmigadoon thinks is true love?
Which of you ladies wants to cross this bridge with me?
You want to try with other people?
We're the men.
What a beautiful couple you two make.
Stop it. You are stunning. Compared to you, I'm a barefoot mess.
Ah! Let's go find your shoes, shall we?
There's hope for all, whether great or small. There's no flaw or wrong. Bring your parasol and we
We're stuck here forever.
You're just going to give up?
We're smart. We found our way out of IKEA. We'll find a way out of here.
Ladies, can I get a cackle?
We're in a musical, okay? Nobody gets killed in a musical, except Oklahoma, and Carousel, and South Pacific. Oh, hello, West Side Story.
That's all the musicals.
So that is the trailer for Schmigadoon. Great comedy pedigree, obviously doing like kind of a send up of big budget movie musicals. And let's start with Cheeto for this. Does this interest you at all?
I'm gonna be honest, probably not, because like musicals ain't really my thing anyway, and I think this might be controversial to some, but I think comedy is one of those things where it's obviously different across the pond from each other, you know. Like we, I'm probably gonna get some.
Yeah, hell yeah, rip into it, baby.
You know what I mean? And
take the shit down.
Just it doesn't look like my type of thing. That's it. Like, and that's not me trying to shit on it. It just, yeah, it's not my type of thing. Like, I prefer much more like awkward comedy, you know, like stale, that type of comedy, you know. And it's just, yeah, like
extras. Extras.
Yeah, extras. And I'm not saying like one's better than the other, because they both have like class comedy, and they both are shit as well at the same time. But yeah, it's just probably not my thing really. And like I said, musicals, I've never been really that into them anyway. So that's just my honest opinion, really.
All right. Hey, that's perfectly acceptable, my friend. Okay, let's go with Jared. Jared, what do you think? Does this speak to you at all?
It could. I feel like my tolerance for it would be about a season. Like, even if it's at like the best it could be, there's a point where I'm like, all right, I've had enough of this. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like the cast, but it's also like those songs didn't really like blow me away or anything too. And it kind of feels like
they seem very generic.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Apple was like, how do we like leverage our TV thing and then make content for Apple Music at the same time?
Oh, like they did with Central Park.
Yeah, like they're just gonna upload these songs and hope that they catch on, and they make a couple extra, you know, a little bit on the back end for the streaming, you know, whatever the streaming fees are.
I mean, I will say that absolutely works, because I do watch the show Central Park, and there's a couple Central Park songs that are on my Spotify start list, because I'm like, actually, this kind of bangs, and like, here, I'm going to Shazam this. Oh, already up on Spotify, because they make sure that the Spotify and the show going up, you know, at like identical times, you know, like broosh, you know, it's there, and that's how I, so it works.
Yeah.
Robbo, what do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but is it kind of like a one joke thing? Can they sustain it for a series and keep it interesting when you kind of, I'm just not sure really. It looks nice, you know, it's kind of Wizard of Oz-esque, I guess. But yeah, I mean, probably not my sort of thing, honestly. Like Cheeto says, sort of light comedy is not really my kind of cup of tea, as you want to say it.
So apparently, this is actually kind of a labor of love because apparently the showrunner Cinco Paul, who's been a screenwriter forever, and wrote Bubble Boy and A Horton Hears a Who, and I mean the original Despicable Me, The Lorax. I'm looking at his IMDb right now. Secret Life of Pets. So he's written a lot of shit, a lot of horrible shit. And he wrote Hop in 2011. But yeah, and so it's apparently an idea he's had for over 20 years. But didn't really break the concept until he had the idea, because originally he wanted like two friends or two brothers to stumble into, but then once he had the idea to make it a couple, so I mean it's kind of labor of love, although based on this writer's track record, that's a little alarming. The cast is phenomenal. I love Keegan-Michael Key. I had the great pleasure to watch the SNL dress rehearsal for their finale back in May. Like, actually went to New York for that, and so I got to see what might have been Cecily Strong's final or second to last, because the dress rehearsal was a separate show. But basically, that there's rumors that she's leaving the show, that she wants to actually like venture out and be an actress now. So I might have witnessed her final episode live, and they do give her kind of like a send off in the Weekend Update segment, like with the wine. She has like this whole wine glass throwing segment that's actually amazing. So I love her. I tolerate Martin Short. Alan Cummings great. Kristen Chenoweth is good.
I think I've seen him, Fred Armisen, in lots of different things. And I think
he's great.
He always plays quirky characters, which are quite interesting sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of just really, really talented people. And I mean, this is another thing that I don't know. Nothing in that trailer was very funny. The jokes were, kind of the jokes were, nothing really like spoke to me. But I'm hoping that when you actually like watch the show, I mean, I've had shows that the trailers weren't very great because you can't really do a concept justice, right? And so I'm hoping that's the case here, because I really like I like musicals for the most part. I watched the show Central Park. I watched every episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, even when it got really shitty at times, especially when they recast Greg in the final season, and it was just not Greg. # not my Greg. So I'm hoping and praying, baby. But I want it to be good. Anyway, does anybody have anything else to say about Schmigadoon before we get to the movie review and finish this puppy up? Okay, so what we're gonna do was, obviously our movie of the week is Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk, which is a John Wick-esque fight action movie. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to play a clip. I'm going to play the bus fight, the big bus fight scene, pretty much the first real action scene in the movie, and really well done. But so this clip's going to run for about 4.5 minutes. So if you guys want to get up, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, or if you just want to just sit there and just watch this clip, that's cool too. But here we go. And when we come back, we are going to review this motherfucking movie. And away we go.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
I got it. Slama nose. What the fuck are you saying? Nose is broken. My fucking teeth. Is it bad? It's bad. Fuck.
Oh shit, he's going back in! He's going back in!
Man, are you...
Run!
Thank you.
Oh, this is so good. Yeah, let's cut it there. That is so good though. I do love that. I also love Nikki's comments. Did he learn those moves at the Cinnabon? Yeah, he's sending all these mofos to Belize, baby. So first and foremost, I do want to just kind of let you guys know how we do movie reviews on the Film Simps, and so we break it up into two sections. Section 1. First impressions, where we spoiler free, don't spoil it. So don't say anything that might be considered like, a reveal that people wouldn't want to know. Obviously, shit that they reveal in the trailer is completely on the table. And just talk about your early thoughts, and then we're going to do final thoughts. And that's where you're going to give a rating out of 10. We do usually. So Jared, do you want to give us can you give us like the back of the DVD box like pitch for this movie? How would you do? What would you say the setup for this movie is?
I would say that it is about a man who is run down and bored by a boring suburban life, but inside he is a fucking warrior, and eventually life gets him down in the wrong way, and he bounces back into a life of violence.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? Yeah. It's like I think me and my brother, we described it as a history of violence meets old school.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's like what every Bob Odenkirk character wishes he could do, and he finally gets to do it.
I mean, maybe not every single one, but a good portion. So let's start with Robbo. Yeah. What are your initial impressions of this movie? How did you feel about it?
When we went to see it in the cinema, we kind of didn't know what to expect, because you think Bob Odenkirk as an action hero doesn't quite sit right, and it was slow to get going. You have a little montage at the beginning that kind of described his mundane, everyday kind of life, riding the bus to work, a job, just crunching numbers, coming home. Family seem quite hostile towards him. And then that bus scene just then kicks it off, I think. And it stays at that pace for the rest of the film. And I just loved it. I just couldn't have highest. There's not superlatives, I don't think, to describe the film. That was a film that I actually genuinely walked out of and said, "Wow, that's a great film. That's probably the best film I've seen this year." And that's how I felt about it. It's not an original concept. It's been seen before. Obviously, with the writer being the guy behind John Wick, you expect that kind of crossover. But there is. Yeah. I thought there was actually this humor in it, and it's almost like a black comedy in a way. And I think, obviously, with the introduction of, do I want to say it? His father, shall we say? That adds to
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, that kind of adds to some of the comedy as well.
I mean, I was like, whoa, Christopher Lloyd's alive? Holy shit! And he's kicking ass,
Again, it's not just one of those mindless action films. There's a bit of intelligence behind it, a bit of humor behind it as well, and it all works. I think it all does. There's some scenes that only happen maybe 3 or 4 shots to describe a scene, but that's all you need. You just see the start, the beginning, and the end. And obviously the music, the soundtrack really does add to it as well. When he's basically kicking ass to "What a Wonderful World" in slow motion. I know that's just that's just great. The music in it is brilliant. So like,
or the repeated use of "Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood."
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, and you just see the guy grow from being, this kind of downtrodden guy to being this super confident action hero, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, and I know this already because you said it such in the group chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I generally I think would more or less agree. I definitely have a couple quibbles that I think I'll get to in the final in the second half. But let's go to Cheeto. Cheeto, what did you think?
I'm basically the same as Robbo, but the big question I had was Bob Odenkirk. When in Breaking Bad, he was brilliant, and then when it came out that he was going to have his own show, you're like, okay, can he be a lead man in a TV show? He answered the question, yes. And then, of course, the next logical thing was to be in a film. And I had the same question, can he lead a film? And the answer was yes. Because I think he's not Sly Stallone, he's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's not this huge guy, He's an everyman. He just looks like any guy on the street, and I think that works. I mean, it worked in Die Hard. That's what made it so special. And it's a fresh film. It's fresh. It's nice to see because it's the same concept. Like it's the same idea, but it's like a fresh twist on it. And I just, same as Rob. I loved it. I can't say any bad things about it. I just came out of the cinema thinking, wow, that's a brilliant film. And it's been a long time since I've been able to come out of cinema because I've seen some pretty shitty films in the cinema. So yeah, I loved it. No other words to say.
It's absolutely a crowd pleaser type movie. I mean, it absolutely.
The director is Ilya Naishaw, I think he's called.
Yeah,
he's actually a Russian musician, isn't he? And he's a filmmaker.
The only thing he directed before, I believe, was music videos.
Yeah,
and so you think for that as a directorial debut,
so you do see that influence.
Fantastic!
Yeah,
what a debut!
Yeah, actually, it's not his debut. It's good. Sorry, it's he also directed Hardcore Henry, which was like an action movie from like first person perspective, like you're in a video game.
This is a way better debut than Hardcore Henry.
You can see that music video influence in the
Yeah.
film as well. It's very stylish.
Oh shit! So he did those. Okay, so he did those like those first person shooter music videos for that band.
Yeah.
That they basically took and then made into Hardcore Henry, which was not nearly as good as either of those awesome music videos.
Biting Elbow.
So
was his
okay, because I love those music videos, and then I thought Hardcore Henry was fine.
It just
I
worked,
thought it was
though.
cool.
It really does.
Yeah. But this is actually like, holy shit, man can direct a movie.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, Jared, what did you think?
I loved it for the most part. I think the early parts that were like showing how down and out he was were like they were laying on a little thick. Like we all know where this is going, so it feels a little bit like homework. But like once it gets going, I'm all smiles all the way through. Once that bus scene happens, and I appreciate that it's not quite as straightforward a story as John Wick, where it's like they killed his dog and now he's out for revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a little bit of a twist and turn where he kind of just accidentally winds up in this violent situation that I kind of enjoyed as like a little something that differentiated a little bit. But yeah, overall, not too many complaints. I thought this is an amazing action movie.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm gonna start with my first impressions, then I'm just gonna jump into my final thoughts and my rating. So overall, fantastic action movie. I love action movies. I consider the original Die Hard a 10 out of 10. I don't think any of the sequels quite ever touches it, especially not the second one or I haven't even seen the fifth one.
No.
Although I think Live Free or Die Hard, actually, I have a soft spot in my heart for Live Free or Die Hard, but it's like a 7. But yeah, I think that the John Wick movies, I think the John Wick movies are probably my favorite action trilogy of all time. Honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think that the third one was a batshit insane masterpiece. I think the first one is a classic action movie. I think the second one is good and is a good just extra, it establishes that everybody in that world is a spy. Like literally every citizen, which goes into my theory that in the John Wick movies, John Wick is actually dead and in purgatory and is being punished for his sins in life. And he misses his wife, but his wife is the one actually like in the real world mourning him. That is my theory, and I think I think they're gonna reveal it's gonna be a big twist. Die Hard with a Vengeance was the best. I don't think that. I think the first one is a good point higher than that in my book. Anyway, this movie I think is very good. I think it's very funny. I think Bob Odenkirk does a phenomenal job. I think that the action scenes, especially, listen, I love the show Loki. I think the show Loki is overall great, and especially there's a couple like twists in the latest episode that are like, whoa. But I think that the action on Loki, like anytime any characters have to fight each other, it doesn't even look like Power Rangers. It looks like a Power Rangers ripoff. Like it looks so bad. You can see you can almost tell like who's a stunt person, and you can see them like pull the punches and like kind of wait. Like they're like, okay, I'm gonna punch you now. I'm gonna wait for you to grab my wrist and then do this. It just doesn't seem fluid. It doesn't seem realistic. It doesn't make me feel like. I feel like people are just rehearsing action scenes. And so watching this movie, and I'd watched this, a couple months ago in theaters, and then I rewatched it this afternoon for this review, and it just reminded me, man, the action in this movie is shot so beautifully. That bus scene fucking is probably just the best action piece in the whole movie. The final battle just has a bunch of great shit. It's basically Home Alone. It's like Home Alone meets John Wick, and a lot of the shit they do, and especially, and then let's we're gonna break the spoiler barrier.
Yeah.
And I gotta put on my spoiler zone. There we go. Spoiler warning. You've been warned. Here be spoilers. So we are now in the spoiler zone. Woo! So that the final, when he kills the bad guy and he has like that fucking shield, that clear shield he has, and he rips it with his teeth. He rips the fucking whatever that thing is, and he just
badass.
Yeah. Oh. Incredible, fantastic, and just fantastic action the whole way through. I think what keeps this movie from being like even a 9 in my book is that I really think, I know that like the director is Russian and they went out of their way to make sure that it was like very true to a lot of Russian things. That doesn't change the fact that the bad guy, outside of his little karaoke, pastime that you get kind of 2 scenes referencing, that really doesn't factor into the plot at all.
A little bit two-dimensional, isn't it? Yeah.
He's a very generic Russian villain. He's a very generic, just feels like very reminiscent of other things. I think that we saw Kenneth Branagh do a better Russian villain in Tenet last year. I didn't even love I liked this movie way more than Tenet, but I think Tenet had the better Russian mafia villain. Going to watch this movie later, so I've muted y'all while you're spoiling. Good, yeah. And actually, oh wait, she can't hear me. I was going to say you could watch it on our Voodoo account, but alas, she had her earbuds in. She couldn't hear me. Move, get out of the road. So that keeps it down. Or some of my other gripes with the movie. I think that I definitely see what you guys are saying about how the first 20 minutes are kind of slow, but I think that's kind of on purpose. And if this movie were an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes, that probably would have been a much bigger issue, because this movie is a very crisp, very lean, 90 minutes.
Some of the scenes only have 3 or 4 shots in, which just move the story.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be 5 or 10 minute ones. And that's I know. I think 90 minutes is pretty good for this film.
90 minutes, it's perfect. This is the perfect length for this movie. This movie should not have been longer. I thought Christopher Lloyd, I kind of wish he had died, honestly. In the final battle, I kind of wish, I felt like there were no emotional stakes for the final battle. At no point did I ever wonder if he was going to make it out of this, you know. And
Mm.
To John Wick's credit, I always, when they get to the final battle, I always kind of wonder because in the third movie he like loses a ring finger, right? Like I always kind of wonder if is this the movie where they kill him? Is this where he's gonna get his head blown off? And then we get revealed that it's purgatory and anyway. I promise you, that's the twist. So because of that, I got to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm gonna say 8.5 out of 10, which is still really good. As an action movie, as a crowd pleaser, if you like action, fucking check this out. It is a blast. I do worry that this is gonna do for Bob Odenkirk what Taken did for Liam Neeson, and
sequel,
Yeah, where all of a sudden, although anybody who's watched all of Better Call Saul knows that fucking Bob Odenkirk can absolutely carry a fucking a series or a movie. I mean, like, this dude is a great actor. He's proven he proved it on Breaking Bad, continues to prove it on Better Call Saul. So he
because the ending doesn't it for a sequel as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely does, because all those Russian mobsters are going to want their fucking to get revenge for their money. I just hope if they do a sequel, because I could either see the sequel being amazing and improving the concept, or just being ass and just kind of ruining it retroactively. I hope that at the very least, one, they raise the stakes. I think Christopher Lloyd has to die if he's still alive when that movie films. And two, they got to get a better villain. Yeah. And I was thinking, man, how crazy would it be if they got either Bryan Cranston or Giancarlo Esposito to be like the villain of that movie, because that would be hilarious and kind of bonkers, kind of like how they got Lawrence Fishburne to be the villain in John Wick 2, and then he's one of the best parts of John Wick 3. Anyway, so that's how I feel. 8.5 out of 10, and let's go to Robbo right now. What do you think?
Valid points you made, but I still think it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Absolutely, man. Stick to your truth.
I can easily overlook those little things because I think just the movie as a whole was just absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I'd be interested to actually see a sequel. And maybe
absolutely,
maybe Bryan Cranston will come in there.
Yeah.
That would be insane. That would just I would lose my fucking shit. I mean, that's like a fucking see this the moment it comes out kind of deal, And Bryan Cranston is the villain. So you're gonna give this a 10 out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 10. Yeah.
All right, okay. Cheeto, what do you think? You concur?
Yeah, but I think that I've got to give my hat off to Derek Kolstad, because he is, in his writing, he's done probably one of the most hardest things at finding that balance between comedy and action. And we see it all the time where it takes, like, either one of them takes it away from the other. But this is just that perfect balance, and it didn't take it away from the movie at all. If anything, it heightened the movie for me. I love the characters, and like you said, the Russian guy, he's very generic, but it was enough for me. It didn't take the movie away, it didn't take it away from the movie, and I love the action scenes. I think they're quite realistic as well, which I like. You see, especially the bus scene. You see, I think his name's Hutch, isn't it? The Bob Odenkirk. You see him hurt.
Hutch Mansell.
Yeah. You see him actually hurt, and it's really effective. And the third act is all you could want in a film, really, and like this. I think it's kick-ass. I do agree that there should be maybe a couple stakes in there because it does heighten the film. But yeah, I left, like I said, I left the cinema, and I'd give it an upper echelons 9 or 10 any day of the week. I just really love this film, and it wasn't a film that I was expecting to like that much. I wasn't even planning on watching it in the first place, so I'm glad I did. I'm glad I really did, and I also like the way how they, like you said, set it up for a sequel. They also had the end credit scene as well, so maybe that could be going into the sequel, maybe, or something. But yeah, no, I really do like this film, and I think it's easily one of the year's best. So
I mean, the thing
for sure, yeah.
about the
definitely.
comedies, they're not playing it for comedy; they're playing it straight, and the comedy is incidental to the actual film. And they're not trying to be funny. You got none of that smirking and looking to camera.
It's the characters themselves, and it's just smartly written.
And some of the comedy comes out of the situation.
Yeah.
So I think definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
I love.
Yeah, and I definitely think. I'm sorry.
I love when the villain's like secretary or whatever like finds his file and just like quits on the spot. That's like I was like giggling like a madman in the theater.
That moment was very John Wick. It was very like, oh, the boogeyman. Holy shit, you're working for the boogeyman, or you're fucking with the boogeyman. I'm out, fucking, or you working, John? I'm working. Jer, final thoughts and rating, please.
I mentioned the thing about the I think in the first part was a little slow and a little obvious, but like and I agree with everyone about the villain. I kind of was let down by how I thought it was really badass, like that first scene where they show him like just murdering that guy on a whim, and then that kind of goes nowhere. But overall, I mean, it delivered exactly what I wanted. It was very creative about it. It was extreme. There's a lot of style to it. The performances were great. I am shocked that I did not know that RZA was in this until I was sitting down and watching it. Because
he's so good.
He's really good. Yeah, I know. I spent a lot of the pandemic watching this thing called 36 Cinema, where they stream martial arts movies mostly, and RZA does commentary on them, and he's super like well versed in the stuff. He knows what he's doing, and it never came up that he was just in a movie this year that was fucking amazing, but he was great in his little role. So yeah, I am at a 9 out of 10 for this one. Loved it. I can't wait. If there's a sequel, I'll be there day one. I think that post-credit scene definitely leaves it open to some wild fun stuff.
Yeah, we're going on a road trip. I love that he's like, why couldn't we fly again? It's like, because you have a million fucking guns. Did you forget about all the guns? But he is pretty old. I mean, and that is the biggest surprise of the movie to me, is just how spry Christopher Lloyd is. It's the biggest twist. Wait, Jared, what was your number rating?
9. Actually, I'm going to say 9.5. Yeah.
9.5. Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm the lowest rating. Damn. That's great. Although it's kind of funny, I talked to Dan Harold earlier actually, and Dan Harold said he agrees with me that it's an 8.5. So I don't know, that means I'm wrong actually. Robbo and Cheeto don't know who we're talking about. But anybody who regularly watches my channel does.
Yeah,
he's a good friend of the channel. He edited the opening thing. Yeah. He's a notorious Christopher Nolan super fan and also has bad takes on things quite a lot. But yeah, so that's our review. 8.5, 10, 9, and 9.5. Look at that. So that's our review of fucking Nobody starring Bob Odenkirk. Go out and watch it. It's a blast. Nikki, I don't know if you're watching or if you've unmuted us yet, but I'm pretty sure you should have the Voodoo login for the Film Simps. If you don't, ask me. I'll give you the login to our Voodoo account, and you can watch this movie for free. But yeah, so that's the end of our show. Thanks again to our guests, the Film Geezers, Robbo and Cheeto. Please, one last time, promote your shit for us, gents.
Well, primarily, we have a podcast. We record every Sunday, and we're on all the major platforms. We have a website, filmgeezers.com, and the associated social media, all under the Film Geezers. Easy to find. Just do a Google search. Something will come up that'll lead you somewhere else. Probably down a rabbit hole somewhere. But it's been a pleasure.
We really appreciate you having us on.
Yeah,
it's been really amazing.
Well, you guys rock. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for doing it. You guys are fantastic. Jer, promote your shit.
I got no shit to promote. I'm just here.
I know, but I still say that, knowing you're going to say that
I'm
back.
here every Wednesday at 6, and sometimes on the Saturday show, but not this Saturday. So fucking watch it for reasons that are not me. So yeah, that'll be. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming on, Film Geezers.
No, thank you very much. Like I said, we do appreciate it. It's been amazing. So
yeah.
Yeah, and finally, look at me. It's me. I'm the big one now. Yeah. So check out, of course, Film Simps on Spotify. I just ripped the audio. I don't do any editing, so they are just 2.5 hour abominations. But my brother says that they sound good. Also, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, This Week in Nerd Stuff with Mikey Jesus, and then finally Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be recapping the 4th episode of Loki on the Hiddle Simpson. We will also be taking IGN's 5 out of 10 review of the episode and saying the name of the reviewer on screen, because they reviewed an episode of a thing we like and they reviewed it wrong, and that's bad. We don't like that, so we're gonna harass that person. We're gonna be what we say we don't like when other people do it, but in this case it's okay because that person's bad. And Nikki says she likes Free, so yeah, so enjoy that movie, Nikki. In the meantime, thanks to all our commenters: Nikki, Eggmango Peach, Batnerd Begins, Mikey Jesus, Snappy Bakes, Muckville Radio, anybody I missed, Eggmango Peach, I already said that. And thanks once yet again to the Film Geezers, and